We're going to talk about the Kaufman Hall National Hospital Flash Report. Some of their key takeaways from this report are margins improved in December and are up by more than 15% compared to 2022, which marked the worst year since the beginning of the pandemic. So I guess if we measure from the low point, we've improved by 15%. I don't know if that's enough or not. Average length of stay has declined on a year-over-year basis, and outpatient revenue has grown significantly, increasing by more than 40% compared to 2020, which I guess is pre-pandemic. What are you hearing? What do you take away from where hospitals and health systems are at with regard to their financial performance?
Yeah, wow. I feel like do we have 2 hours to talk about this one? When looking at the report this month, Bill, one of the things I noted, which I also noted it towards the end of last year, while we're seeing kind of overall index improvement, I think the stories in the regions, right? Kaufman Hall breaks it down into 4 or 5 regions. And the fact that you mentioned those two are in regions that are struggling more. You look at the South or the Northeast, and they're going gangbusters percentage-wise compared to past performance. And we feel that, right? We noticed a distinct change about October, November last year, where it seemed like dollars started freeing up in the health systems, and they were ready to engage and start spending money for us with us in a much more rapid pace than we had seen before. The other thing I'd mention about that is just what you said in terms of length of stay. And there is an interesting dynamic going on, which we spend a good bit of time addressing, and that is as hospitals move more business to their outpatient centers or the outpatient revenue side. And I think the Kaufman Hall report said there's in some areas there's been a 40% increase of that. But many of these big health systems have these huge big boxes that they got to keep full called hospitals in order to be profitable, right? So they're really in this tough spot of, I got to go compete outside my hospital wall, but yet I got to keep enough business to keep the hospital profitable. And that's quite a big swing to go through for some of these organizations, especially when they're dealing with Medicare Advantage cuts and other things like that. So what we love to do is help the CIOs and IT leadership teams know how to respond to that and talk the business of health IT. So I'm a sucker for a good Kaufman Hall flash report and kind of understanding where the economics are, how they're performing. When I also wonder, again, just thinking through this without a lot of data in front of me, there are a lot of rural small hospitals in those markets, right, that absolutely have to stay open or people don't get health care. And in talking to some of our clients in that section of the company, there's just a big question of how do we keep doing that without the federal government support there to keep those small hospitals open. I don't know if that plays into it or not. It makes me wonder.